A very good morning to you. My name is QT Lady Josh. Thank you for making time to be with us on Citizen TV, this social hour. And today I'm sitting in for Safina Ching. She's out on assignment, but I know she's watching. Hi, Safina. We're going to represent you to the fullest. But yes, today I'm on this other side, the other side of life, you know. Let me feel how it feels to be on this side. Good morning, guys. And I'm with the panel, of course, kama kawaida.
Good morning.
Bobby, energy. Where do you get the energy from, Bobby?
Nakunywanga Lucozade asubuhi.
Very important.
Yeah, but I think I'm just a ball of energy. CJ told me you're a ball of energy. You light up the room when you walk. Yes. Yes.
That is it. You actually do, by the way.
Thank you.
CJ, how are you this morning?
Very well.
Good to see you. And I think we are matching with CJ. Blue.
Yeah. But that's a very good intro you've done, huh?
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing.
Awesome. Good to see you guys.
Right.
And Mr. Josh, big up on himself. He's always listening.
Yeah.
And your mom too. She's watching.
Mama Bobby.
Mama Bobby and Mama Cute. Baba Cutie.
Tuma salamu CJ.
Tuma salamu. Unatuma salamu CJ ama kwa tu sawa?
I'm good.
Good, eh? But today we're going to be talking about couple goals. You know, the pressure keeps getting worse on social media. P for pressure. I'm telling you, social media is kind of crazy because sometimes you just see people posting things and you start asking yourself like, when is my turn? When am I? Couple goals, hizi couple goals, watu wamepost huko, wamevaa machimachi, kuna watu wanavaa nguo zinafanana, they're just there like, hey, you're like, when I grow up, viatu ni the same, suti wamevaa the same, kitenge ni the same, wana match, kuna wenye wana match gari, kuna wenye wana match tattoos. People are just doing crazy couple goals out here, but the real question is, these couple goals, what are couple goals? Are they important? Do they like define a relationship? Like, CJ, what would you say? Let me see.
Well, I didn't like it when you turned.
You just knew I was coming
I didn't
for
like
you.
it when you turned.
But just understanding maybe what couple goals are, or if it's just pressure on social media, maybe.
Well, you know, I'm from a generation that didn't hear that word. It's a word that came in later. But from usage, you'll see that it's what people admire in other couples, in things that they do together. So it becomes aspirations for them. But a deeper sense of it would be, when we come together as two people, what do we want to achieve? Who do we want to become? What do we want to do? Where are we going? So you'll have different goals as well. You may have, physical goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, emotional goals, all of that. So when you come together, where you want to go as a couple, that for me would define what a couple goal is, not what I see QT and her man doing, because there are very many other factors that I do not know that will create whatever we are seeing. There are many other things, their own discussions, their own personalities, their priorities, the stages they are in life, that I cannot even adapt what you show me. So I believe that it's just generally more of where, as a couple, where do we want to go? What do we want to achieve? Whom do we want to become? If we have children, what do we want to raise these children to become? How should they be? So in those areas of convergence, then that would be my definition of a couple goals.
Couple goals. Bobby, couple goals, not just in a letter pressure, but pia nataka tutaleta in the aspect of property and wealth. Unajua story, tukianza kuongelea couple goals, as CJ said, you bring in now the aspect of financial, it could be financial. Mambo na property, wealth, meleta pamoja, mko in a relationship. Do people even talk about their own?
Watu wanamkanga asubuhi wanaingia IG, hiyo P for pressure umesema, inawasambaratisha. By the time 10 a.m. imefika, ushaji compare to everyone you've seen on your feed. When really couple goals is supposed to be like, I agree with CJ, what he's saying. These things are very, ni kama two individual goals. So when you get together with your partner, you guys have things you're looking forward to. And I think any goal is valid. If you guys want matching tattoos, cool. If you guys want the same cars. That one sounds exciting. If you guys want matching cars, you know, a GLE and a G-Wagon. His and hers. Muna post up IG, muna tupea pressure. If that's your goal, then that's a good thing, because Nivitu, you guys are looking forward to. It doesn't have to be something I want to do as well. But in this day and age, you're influencers. Una realize most people do not have a sense of individuality. That's why wanajipata wako so easily influenced and affected by things they see, maybe in real life or even online. And then it makes you start feeling like, for me to have a successful relationship, we have to buy cars. We have to go to Dubai. We have, kama venye unaona nyumba za watu wengi ma influencers, inakanga the same. Wako na kale kamera kabigi kukona, white couch, white white things in the house. There's no sense of individuality. And while it's okay to be influenced by people, you have to understand that at the end of the day, goals ni zako, lazima zikwe zako na lazima zikwe vitu wewe unataka. So even when it comes to financial goals, material stuff, they're valid, but make sure it's decisions you're making for yourself. Usione Bobby hapo na chali yake wanapost hizo ma GLE, wanze kwa na pressure for nothing. Hata ujui kama tumechukua na loan, aujui kama tumerent tuwapostie, aujui kama ni ya CJ nimeomba ni yeke hapo Instagram uskepo. You literally have no idea. So I think goals go deeper than financial stuff and property. It's good to look forward to building a better home, a better house, a better future for yourself and your family. But then don't be too focused on the financials and showing people what you have so that you guys can show up as couple goals. You forget that this is real life. Like, isi kati tena, isi brikicho, sijui nini. Isi, ilikuwa inaitwaje brick game. Isi, najua watu wasea wajui brick game ni nini. Lakini, it's growth. Having those goals is very valid, and I think it's good because it gives you something to look forward to, something to want to wake up the next day. Can you imagine, like, you have nice cars with your boo, and then tomorrow you guys have to go somewhere and you want to pull up it's nice. It feels good. You don't have to everyone use their car, but like, I know it's a nice feeling when you wake up and you look at your parking lot and you're like, me and my man made this decision 5 years ago and we've achieved it. So this is a goal. We've worked, we've committed, we've put in the effort, and the fruits of our labor, our work. Yeah, so it's a good thing to me.
Yeah, and to this question to you, CJ, now we go to wealth and property, because financial is part of the goals that maybe people have in a relationship, but people never really talk about it. Like, people don't really sit down and actualize the goal and say, okay, we want to buy land, we want to buy a house, we want to buy cars. Who's gonna bring in the money? We'll bring what percentage? But you know, some men are like, I'm gonna do it, you just sit pretty, I'm gonna do all of this. But this affects the relationship. So when you guys are breaking up, what happens now to the financial? Let's get to the wealth and the property. What happens?
I think most of us have not been socialized well with money. Our interactions with money have not been very healthy. You see, you raise a child and you keep money from the child until this child is grown. You only give them basically probably pocket money to go to school. It's so fixed. And sometimes the money will be given to a teacher in case the child needs the money, then they will get it. So this kid grows never knowing how to handle money. And you see, money is the one thing that, for you to relate with well, you have to make certain mistakes and learn. So this person grows never having made money mistakes until they get to probably campus or college, or they start their first job after high school. Then they get this first salary of 10,000. They literally feel they have a sense of freedom. So now this freedom is going to produce certain kinds of behavior. Everything that they could never do, they start that. By the time they learn how to now manage their money, it's probably 10 years down the line, they're beginning to think about what to invest, what to do. But you see, they've not even gained that knowledge of investment and managing that resource. So again, you find people in the age 30 to 40, there's the pressure, buy some property here, buy here, and that's why we get conned. Because you just want to have a title deed, something. So, you know, they'll not do due diligence. They don't even have networks that can tell them what to do, because now they're beginning to feel like I need to start owning something. By the time most people, and this is very general, by the time they're getting financial sense, they're over 40. And probably opportunities are either less or the energy is also slowing down. So now at work, they know they will not work there for like 20 years or something. So this thing begins with how we are raised to socialize with money, so that if somebody grows up knowing that money is something that is to be earned from hard work and is to be used to achieve goals, when it begins to come, it is not a difficult conversation to have.
True.
But when I have never had money in my life, then I meet you. We're coming to the table. I mean, I have been denied money for like 20 years. Then you're coming in when I'm 25. The first thing I will protect is my money. So that conversation will not be very easy. And you realize that even with parents, and especially in the African context, they never would talk about their wealth until probably the person is dead. That's when the family gets to know your parent owned this, your parent owned this and that. And so somebody will be taking over property from their parents. They're probably 40 or 50. They've never run anything. And then they've been given a part of the estate, so they don't know how to manage that. Again, which sometimes makes us not have third or fourth generation wealth. So it's how we've been socialized with money. That's what makes the conversations difficult.
Yeah, true.
Then there's also the thing of, even when you have grown, you're supposed to go back, what some people call the black tax. I don't like calling it that. But you're also thinking about your family. You're thinking about the sacrifices that your mother made or your dad, whoever, and you feel you need to support them. So most people will look at their partner as an intruder. You're coming in, this is the sacrifice from my family, they need to get a reward. So if you're coming in, you're not coming in to take this. And sometimes the family also is putting the pressure that you shouldn't let the other person come in and take from you. So the very basis of those relationships is fear and suspicion.
True.
And when fear and suspicion is in play, money will be kept off the table. It takes a lot of trust built, openness, intentionality for people to discuss the issues of money. So to your question, it's just that most people are not comfortable talking about money because of what it represents to them. It was something that represented a reward of coming out of prison for decades. So that's why it's very difficult. There are people who begin that conversation. Then now you now have to deal with people's money personalities. There's the one who wants to spend. There's the one who wants to save. There's the one who wants to invest. There's the one who feels like you only live once. They'd rather live well today than invest for tomorrow, because they don't know about that tomorrow. And you'll come and tell them, look, you've not even secured your future. Then they'll be like, but there are also people who build and then they never leave to enjoy what they've built. They never leave for that investment. So it's a delicate balance. The whole thing, though, is that remove the fear from the conversations of money. Allow yourself to make money mistakes. And those mistakes, I'm not talking about being careless. I'm just saying you will not get it right the first time. So allow yourself to make money mistakes. Seek people who can help you in managing money, and people who can also help you in having conversations around money.
Yeah, and Bobby, I was just thinking when CJ was talking, I was just thinking, like, we've been brought up like differently. Everyone has come from a different background. But now you're in a relationship with someone, and when you go into that relationship, you have your own investments. But they're here talking about we should buy a house. We should get land. It's all about we. Is it okay for you in a relationship to have your own investments on the side and not have the we conversation? Or when you get in a relationship, should it be about we? If you're getting land, we are going to buy it. Our two names are going to be on the title deed. If you're going to get a house, if you're going to get a car, what do you think about that, Bobby?
The more investments there are in the family, the better. Ukikuwa na 4 na mimi nikuwe na 5, alafu tuko na zetu 3 pamoja, that's even better. You see, I realize such questions come up because, first of all, people are dating people they don't like, people they don't trust, people they are not very sure about. And you might ask, how am I dating someone who doesn't like me? it's because you're asking such questions. Because if you had someone that you trust, someone that's your friend, it starts in the Venesija amesema hiyo socialization. Beshte yako anaweza kuvisit kwa keja na kuna kale katini unaekanga coins. Na unaiacha hapo. Kuna mtu mwingine ukienda kwake, the first thing anafanyanga wageni wakikuja, hiyo tin lazima aisunde chini ya bed. So wageni wasione. Na kuna mtu mwingine ako very comfortable about it. The more even exposed you become, you have conversations with people from different places in the world, and you hear people from America very open with their finances. They really tell you, I earn this, I make this a year, this is what I do with my money. And then you come to Africa, Venesija amesema, you never know if anybody has anything. You never know. And in the Hindu community, these are conversations they have at the breakfast table. They talk to each other about, this is what I'm doing today, this is the money that came in, this is all the kids know what's happening in the business. The mother knows what's happening in the business, even if she's a stay-at-home mom and the dad is the one running things. So it's mostly about EO socialization. And something that I'm learning, nilikuwa na feel nika CJ ana talk to me directly tena. Unaona, e discourse about finances, it's such a big deal because it actually impacts how you live your life. It's not just a money thing, it affects everything, including your relationships. In that, I was actually talking to my friend about this, Juicy. We were talking about how, you know, you grow up in a situation where you're not necessarily poor. You have everything you needed, but you lacked Venesija amesema unapewa fare. Kama fare ni 250, unapewa
250 on the dot.
Ukipoteza 10 bob,
nivo
unapiga kalesa. Lazima utembee hiyo siku. Ama sijui utafanya nini. So that's how it is. What it does, it creates this fear around conversations about money. And it's not just fear, it keeps you in a lacking mindset. So anytime even you come into money, you're always scared, itaisha, itapotea, nikitumia yote ndabaki bila. And people don't realize that money is abundant. Like there's so much money, there's so much resources, there's so much property, there's so many things that you can acquire on earth that ata haziezi isha. Ukitaka nini utapata at 20, at 30, at 40. These are things you can acquire at any time. But then if you live in that scarcity mindset that unfortunately is instilled in us when we're younger, you either become your spendthrift, you have no sense of money. Money kikuja, money come in, money go out. You know. Let's live for today. Investments to gani najuaje kama sitakuwa hapa next week. So it's the conversation is so difficult to have, but the more you start dating people who like you, and not just dating people who like you, even your friends. I've realized that the more I'm making more friends who are comfortable around me, these conversations are so easy. Someone is even able to put you in spots where you're able to make money. They're able to take you tea. Nifanye hiyo nini kesho, utalipwa hii nini. Unaanza kuona, kumbe talking about money is normal. Kumbe we can just say, hi, can you give me 2,000 shillings? I have 1,000 shillings for you. It should just be a normal conversation. But then when you're in relationships and you fear, you've not dealt with the trauma around money, you've not dealt with the scarcity mindset around money, it becomes very difficult because you're consistently thinking someone will take your money, someone will take your investments. And when you're in a relationship, let me say marriage, wacha nisiseme hizi. Naweza sema relationship watu wafikirie naongea juu hizi ma situationship wanafanyanga huku town. But like when you're in a marriage, it should be open. Whether you want to invest as an individual, whether there's something you want to look into on your own, it's valid. Whether there's something I want us to do together, amazing. It's just about, let's talk about it, let's decide, let's see who wants to do what, who feels like doing what. Because venye tu nilianza hii nikiongea, the more investments we have in the family, doesn't matter kama ni ya boy, ama kama ni ya mami, zote ni za familia na zitatusaidia.
But the real question is, the real issue hapa CJ ni ati kwa relationships, tukwe tu realistic. Kwa relationships, inafikanga point, watu wanataka kuseparate. We have these fights of, okay, tumeachana. Nani anabaki kwa hii nyumba? Hii nyumba tulijenga pamoja. Nani anabaki kwa hii nyumba? Kuna kuanga na hiyo argument ya because the wife is the one yeye ndo anabaki na kids. Most of the time of course the wife ndo baki na kids. So kuna kuanga na hiyo discussion ya mimi ndo nafani baki huko cause niko na watu hii. Because sometimes you find maybe a guy can decide I'm going to bring in a second wife and the first wife is like hawezi leta bibi wa pili hapa na hii nyumba tumeijenga naye. Mwanaume anaweza decide kufanya Kenya anafanya ama hata huyo dem decide kufanya Kenya anataka kufanya, but the real issue is mkisha invest pamoja ikifika time ya kuachana, because these things happen, nani anafaa kubaki na hiyo mali yenye mliinvest pamoja? Kama ni title deed maybe uliweka kwa jina ya waifi, but it's time to go, you know, so what do you do at that point?
Well, you see, in some places, and I'm not an advocate for that, but that is why some people have the prenup agreements.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I know.
They will have that, because we're now talking about investments, and the truth is, apart from just owning property, if you're running a company or running a business, it's not very easy to do that for most couples, because the dynamics around running a business and being lovers and friends at the same time are very different. There are decisions you have to make which are business decisions. You may find one person wants to hire a particular person, the other person doesn't like that person. So you're going to have conversations as board members and not as lovers.
Yes.
And not carry this thing to your bedroom and not bring your bedroom matters to your boardroom. Yeah. So it's not the easiest for everybody to do that. There are people who hack it. There are people who do not know how to do that. You wake up and then you find your wife or your husband has fired somebody you really liked as an employee. That thing can cause a rift for whatever reason. But then again, you cannot prefer the employee to your spouse. So it's not a very easy thing to do. That's why anytime there is a family investment or couple investment, there needs to be a very proper structure around it, because there's already a very heavy emotional connection between these two people, and those emotions can interfere with the running of the things that need to be done. So in such cases, I think by the time people are separating, they have had issues for a while. So the conversations need to begin coming up.
Which they never do anyway.
Yeah, you know, you see, in a company you'd have a dissolution clause. So if in case we're going to part ways, then this is how we will share liability, or this is how the assets will share. So there is, in a sense, you've got to have that conversation as well. So, and you've got to think about the general good. Most people will do this to hurt each other. I'll keep the house so that you feel the pain. Or I'll take away the cars because I'm the one who bought them.
Yes.
So they never look at it like, well, you may not have been bringing bread to the table, but you gave me your life. You gave me time. You gave me your emotions. You invested here, just like somebody who went to a company for all those years. So if we are parting ways, even if I'm the one who bought everything, you contributed to me buying everything in this place by the emotional support, the mental support, covering the things in the background. So if we have to part ways, we have to be very sober. And sometimes then we need a third party to come in for us to have the conversation, so that we don't use those things to hurt each other. This is somebody at some point you loved, or you were in love with. This is somebody who at some point was the most important person in your life. So no matter the issues that have come up, they should never leave empty-handed. And people shouldn't use property to score against each other. Just ensure that the other person will be comfortable enough, whichever the case. And be reasonable. Though that is very difficult where those emotions are. And that's why I said a third party may be needed. You may need to bring in either your lawyers, or bring in your family, or bring in different people to have conversations over time, so that you're not just deciding emotionally today. You've got the 2 cars Bobby was talking about, then suddenly she's on the street with nothing. So that somebody says, you see, when she was with me, she was doing well.
But right now, she's not.
She's not doing well. So that's manipulation. I think that, so people need to have the conversation of, if this were to happen, what happens? And it's not just even separations. It's also things like death. Because a spouse may die. Yes. And then their family may come in and say, we want property from our son or our daughter. depending on who they believe was bringing in the money. But there's somebody who's been left here. So it's a conversation that even when it comes to matters of death, you'll still have it. People normally come in and invade families and feel like, you know, our son built that house. So we will take care of the children, or the house will remain ours or something. And then you find the widow is in a very difficult place. So the conversations around separation and death, they need to be held around the property issue with sober minds.
I like what CJ is saying, and what is actually brought up about, you know, when you probably die, you've left your wife, your children are there, but you never had that discussion with your wife. Probably in your will, will be like, the guy never wrote your name there, or the guy never put your name on his title deeds, on the house, on the property, because kulikuwa na ile uoga ya cheki, mimi sitaki, we kama uko hapa, mimi familia yangu ndo ina run things. So there needs to be that maybe clear separation ya hizi vitu ni zangu na mama na watoi. But unajua most people aongeleleangi hizi vitu. Na pia Bobby, I would love you to touch also on wasee wakikosana. Inakuwaga heat of the moment, weishia. Some people decide, wacha mimi nibebe nguo zangu, nitoke niende. Unajua kuna wale tu watu modest watasema, I've been around people tu wamesema cheki, mimi wacha nichukue nguo zangu niishie. Mimi sitaki mambo mob. But kuna wale wase hapana, this is a fight. Mimi ndo nabaki na hao. Hii hao ni yangu. Mpaka inaanza kukua, mimi ndo nilieka do mob hata kukuliko. You know, such kind of conversation. So probably, is it really good to invest with someone? Or is it good to just protect your property, Bobby? What do you really think about this?
I think by the time you're asking this question, first of all, you already have doubts. And listen, emotions are very valid. See, the thing with emotional intelligence is, I said this last week, it's not that you don't feel things, ama you don't fight. You know. I think watu wana venye muongea wanadhani, dem anakuanga tu chill, happy, nothing makes her annoyed. See, it's about you feeling the anger, you feeling the pain, you feeling like you've been scorned, but being able to control your reaction, because it's much bigger than everything. And that's why I tell people, let me speak to the ladies kwanza saizi. Invest in yourself, have hobbies, make your money. Hata kama ni 10 bob inaingia daily. Please have your own money, have something that's yours. Have a hobby, have a talent, have something you enjoy doing outside of this relationship. You know, most of us get into relationships and we want to settle and build and grow, which is very natural. But then, in case of anything, kwanza me, the community I come from, they will come to your house and they will say, this is our son's house. What do you do from there? Kwanza, if the kids are grown up and they've left the house, you know, you'll start fighting. You're a woman in your 60s, in your 70s. What will you do? Like, anything can happen. And it's very unfortunate that watu fikisha na hiyo point ya wanaanza kufight about, people are not able to apply like emotion and empathy and say, this man has been with me for 40 years. Even if I don't like him right now, like enyewe, he's invested his time, he's been there for the kids, he's done this for the family, he's given all this investment. Or even the woman, it could be vice versa. You're supposed to be able to see either kazi mtu fanya in the background. There's a divorce lawyer who was talking about like why women are filing more for divorce, and she said that because women are so tired of doing everything on their own, and nobody notices things like nguo za watoto zikiwa ndogo, nani ununua the new clothes, nani upack lunch za watoi, nani umake sure watoto wameenda kinyozi, nani wachanua nywele, nani ujua allergy medicine zao, nani wapea medicine kila asubuhi. You could be the parent who's paying for everything, but remember there is someone here on the background who's making sure they got to school safe, they ate a balanced diet, not just ate. Yes, they know their ABCs, they know how. And it's not just about the kids, even the house. Vitu kama unatoa watu wengine wanaishingi kwa nyumba zao, hawajui stima ununuliwaje, maji ununuliwaje, because there's someone, you could be bringing in the money, but kuna ule mtu mwenye ufinya tokens, like, ya ukweli. Kuna ule mtu mwenye uenda kununua hizo maunga za ugali. Wewe unapatanga ugali imesongwa vizuri kwa meza. Please do not ignore these background things that happen in the house. Even small things like make sure wall clock iko na battery inafanya kazi. Nani ufanya hiyo kazi? It might look like a small thing, but you're supposed to be able to appreciate. My car always has fuel. the wall clock is always running. I've never noticed battery imeisha, hata sijui ni lini battery iliekwa. There's always dishes in the house. Maybe ungekuwa unaishi peke yako ungekuwa na zile plastic cups ama zile plastic forks. Like you have to appreciate the work that the other person is doing. And in investments, like other than I spoke to women because most women are not told, you know, we're socialized to be homemakers. Take care of the home, take care of your lover, take care of but nobody really tells women, like, make your own money. Make sure your account is looking nice. And I promise, this is something I learned from my mom. Ata kama ni 10 bob. Ukimake so moja leo, eka yo 10 bob kando. It'll come handy another time. And it's not that you're preparing for an exit, ama you're preparing for an inevitable whatever. It's just, things happen. Life happens. Watu kosana, watu wachana, wase udedi, ni life. Na in as much as you don't want it to get there, it's just like writing a will or a prenup. You're not making it so that you guys can break up. You're making it so that in the event that something happens, the mediation is a bit easier. We don't even have to talk. If I know I'm taking the car and you're taking the house, it's easier. It's just easier. We don't have to argue. I'm the one who fuels the car. I'm the one who built the house. It's just... And ndarudi kwa hiyo point here, please date people who like you, because ata mkikosana, you're able to see them from the lens of, this person has actually invested into my life. They might have never given me money or whatever, but even the emotional investment, the friendship, the care, the empathy, being there for you to even listen to, talk to, such things, they matter. What was he focused to on the material stuff? Najua hiyo ndo the big deal, of course, to not get your property. Property nani. Na kuna wase wengine kama mimi, I feel like I'm the type to walk away. Spendi drama mob, kwanza vitu najua neza buy. But
is it easy to walk away from something that you've invested in?
It's not easy, but it's good for you to be mature enough to realize that as much as your emotions are very valid, you can be angry, you can feel betrayed, and you can feel unaweza jam, lakini haijustify wewe kuumiza huyo mtu mwingine kwa sababu mmeachana. Just because you guys have broken up doesn't mean now you take the house from them because it's not working out. That's not fair. Have a discussion, talk about it, figure out. And in most relationships, kwanza saizi kwa ground, wase hawako at par always financially. Someone can be richer than the other person. So does it mean that this other person's contribution that is not bringing the money to the relationship is not as important? Kwa sababu huyu investment zake ni nyumba tunaona kubwa amejenga. Does it mean huyu mwingine hajafanya kitu yote kwa hii relationship? Sije amesema the reason umeweza kujenga hiyo nyumba ni kwa sababu mse mwingine amekusupport. Kumekuwa na peace, kumekuwa na hata kama hauta acknowledge, utasema I used to buy the food, okay, but this person used to make sure you ate. Hata kalko anakuambia kula kamamu, umekula kamamu. It's still, you know, it's someone caring about you enough to care about your nourishment. So I think every participation in the relationship should be recognized. But ladies, please have your account somewhere.
Have your money.
That's lazima ikuwe secret. Sijasema ikuwe secret, but have a hobby, have something outside the relationship that does not involve the kids, does not involve your own person, away from family. There's this video my mom sent in the group chat. It kind of hurt me, but it made a lot of sense. Na mamangu alisema niache kumwanika, but here I am just. It was a video about a mother saying, you know, nobody ever thinks about what's mommy's favorite color, what does she like to eat, where does she go. All questions zinakwanga, mami wapi lengo yangu, mami nenda shule, mami nipe pesa, mami. Mothers, once you become a mother or a wife, you're just seen through that lens. Nobody remembers that you're an individual with your own things going on. So investments, yes, have investments on your own, do your own thing. It doesn't have to be a secret. And I promise, if your partner, your lover is someone who cares about you, they'll support you, and they'll even encourage you, like, to have your own thing going on. They love it. They'll even pour into it because they want to see you thrive and be happy. So it's important. Have your thing going on. Separate your identity from just being a mom. From no ukifika 60 na huyu mjamaa amepata Gachagua ana
Gachagua
decide
pale.
yeye anajitoa, you know,
Yeah.
you're able to, hata kama hauna pesa, you're able to say, yo, I used to go running, I can join a marathon. Unaweza tuletea medals za Kenya hapa next year. Sasa ulikuwa unafaitia gari ya nini na ndio hiyo umeenda ukajibaia. You know, so it's just important, like invest in yourself, your health, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you, even money. Jieke katenbob kako kando. It will pay off.
What I'm picking from Bobby is that yani unafaa kuwa na tu vitu twako kando,
Yes.
na si lazima ikuwe secret. You can tell your person, like ajuange mama tu ako tu sawa. And I think ni kitu fiti juu kila mtu anataka kuona mtu wake kama amejiweza na akona pesa and all that. And CJ, I was thinking about, do sometimes people stay in a relationship to protect what they've invested together? You might feel, maybe as a woman, you feel, umse tumehustle na we've been through it all, we've been through hell. Do haikuwa, but saizi imefika mali, do iko. Tumeinvest pamoja, tumejenga pamoja, all our goals zinakuja vizuri, wealth and property. And then sasa kwanze kukuwa na some issues. But sometimes you feel that someone might stay in the relationship to actually protect this and say, okay, tuli hustle na wewe, so it's time to eat and I'm going to stay here and eat, you know, it's my time to eat. So ile time yenye maybe the man is out there, ndio wako nao Gachagua yenye nani anasema kona sijui today muku hapa kule, but you feel like you want to stay. So do you feel like people stay in relationships just to enjoy that part after the hustle, just now to enjoy the wealth and property?
Yeah, there are a lot of cases where people do, either to protect the property or also for the kids.
Yeah.
And I know several times when we've been here, we say don't stay in a relationship for the kids. It really depends. It really depends. If it is an abusive, especially a physically abusive relationship, then that statement may make sense. But sometimes you may want to stay in for the kids. Why? Because probably the separation then is going to affect where these children go to school, what they're able to get, their lifestyle. It may mean if both of you are shifting, you're going to shift into different kind of spaces, the trauma of change and something. So sometimes adults will say, okay, well, let's handle our issues here and keep consistency with the children. They may decide that that whatever they are facing does not warrant them to disrupt the life of the children. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes even that property or that money is being protected for the kids to take over. Like if we built a company, if perhaps we've got to go different ways or separate ways, it may affect people we do business with. It may affect the business and it may go down. So sometimes people will sit and ask themselves, is it fair for our personal differences to ensure that these kids start from zero, or even for us as a company to go down? Then they just agree, like, well, we will stay as partners. We may not remain as lovers, but we stay as partners doing business. We will run the business because we both need the money. We both need the life we've invested. Starting all over again is not always easy. So sometimes we make those decisions and they just say, look, for this, so they redefine the relationship. If two people will sit down and look at the circumstances and the dynamics and then decide to do that, sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it makes sense because if you've got to, for example, now move this kid from, if it was, and nothing wrong with public schools, but if it was a private school, then suddenly they're thrown into a class where there are 100 and they used to be just 30 or 25. Something is going to happen to this kid at that point. And you have to ask yourself, was it something you could avoid? If you stayed in the same house, even if you didn't want to be in the same room, you could have found your way, worked it, saved this kid. As they grow, you can now do your own stuff as two adults. So sometimes you make decisions that are beyond your feelings. Nobody will force you to be lovers, but there are certain things you're building as well. So you see, some of the childhood traumas that people grow up with could have been avoided if the adults decided that let's be the bigger people for this, for the people that we have around us. Some of them would have been avoided, so that kids would never have needed to choose. We are visiting this side, we're visiting this side. Where's mom? Where's dad? All of that kind of thing. Feed the feeling of they're not wanted, they don't belong. See other kids coming to school and have both parents coming in. It's not that all those people who come in with both parents, the parents agree.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're just mature enough to say, this, we need to do this.
It's okay.
It is okay. So, yes, I think it is okay to do that. It is okay to do that. And probably as you keep on working, if you're intentional, you may again work back together to the relationship. Yeah.
I agree with that. And maybe as we just go to wind up, Bobby, some are fighting to stay, some are fighting to like go away so that you sue someone or they probably pay you. You know, in some countries, when you're divorcing someone, they actually get to pay you or you get to keep like half of the property. But maybe just your final say on all this wealth and property, investing together and everything. What would you advise someone out there who is just new in their marriage or in their relationship and they're starting on this?
Have very clear, transparent discussions around your money. Realize that it affects the whole family, including especially the kids. Talk about it. It's difficult, but mnaingiaje relationship serious hivyo na mnaogopa kudiscuss vitu zingine. So just talk about it, put it on the table, make decisions, then say, this is what I want. So that hata will, andikeni will, hata sisi saizi hapa nawaambia, make sure you have your will ready.
Yes, true.
Even if it's just clothes that you own, even if it's just shoes that you have to your name or your nice handbag, or hata ka hauna kitu hii watch yako tu poa. Please write it for someone, put it to someone, and it makes a difference because ukishia unaacha wale watu wanabaki with an easier time making decisions. You protect your kids. You're not just protecting like, you know, some people think sijui mbona watu kwa na notion ya tuki break up si ni enemies. See, you protect the person you used to love forever unless they were abusive.
True.
You protect each other, you take care of each other even after death, even in the event that you guys break up. Why would you want, sasa hiyo kama hiyo example sija amepeana, mbona unataka Robata arudi kutembea kwa matatu na alikuwa na si uniachie tu gari, sasa ndafanya sasa tena
nafanya nini?
For why? Kwani unani hate? Si tulikuwa tunapendana last month. Let's just be nice to each other. I know it's difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult, and it's difficult to imagine an amicable breakup where you people just, hi, I love you, take the car. But it's possible. If kama mnaona mko emotionally mature enough for you guys to have these transparent discussions, write it down. Get a prenup. Get a will. It's not, watu wengi Africans hawajaza hizi vitu juu tunafanyanga tufikirie ni kama tuna preempt the end. But it's not that. It's just about kujipanga, and it's a response. It shows you're very responsible with your finances and with your life.
Wow, there you have it, guys. Like, if you're in a relationship, if you're getting into that, you better know what you're getting yourself into. And a relationship is as serious as an investment. It's a business, by the way. Take it as a business. The same way you take boardroom meetings seriously, you should take that relationship serious. Have these conversations with your partner about wealth, about investments, about property. There you have it. You can follow CJ Atemo on all his social media pages, Robata, Bobby, QT, Lady Josh, and at Citizen TV Kenya. Have a lovely day, guys. Thanks for making time with us.